When you think of Central America, do you imagine sandy white beaches, thick jungles, and mighty volcanoes? Or do you recall the powerful pre-Columbian civilizations of the Maya? Perhaps you think of Central America history as being plagued with colonialism and struggles for independence. Well, Central America is all this and more. Nomads entered the isthmus roughly 10,000 years ago, and in the second millennium before Common Era, civilized society emerged. These communities will eventually evolve into the renowned Maya civilization, an advanced gathering of city-states. Many priests made discoveries in architecture, mathematics, and astronomy. They erected great pyramids which were meant to be replicas of the great mountain of the gods. They developed an advanced system of writing and recorded their history in stone monuments. However, by the 10th century, the Mayan urban centers were abandoned and the Mayan population dispersed. The exact reason is still unknown. The remaining Mayan groups refused to unify and descended into civil war for the rest of the upcoming centuries. In 1502, Christopher Columbus, on his fourth voyage, explored the Central American region while sailing along the Caribbean coast from Bay of Honduras to Panama. A few years later, the first Central American colony was established in Panama City. Later, León and Granada were established in Nicaragua. Meanwhile, in the north, the Spanish conquered Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador. Costa Rica would later be colonized in 1561. Spanish domination of Central America was achieved by relatively few Spanish military forces, but at a great cost in Indian lives. The indigenous people of Central America soon became subject to exploitation. In 1543, Spain unified the entire isthmus, establishing Guatemala as the capital of the whole region. As the century closed, there emerged in the Guatemalan capital a group of progressive Central Americans who promoted liberal economic and political ideas. The Cadiz Constitution of 1812 provided for colonial representation in the Spanish parliament and permitted popular political activity in Central America. This led to the emergence of factions that would form the basis of the future Central American governments. On September 15, 1821, a council of notables in Guatemala City accepted the independence plan of Mexican Creole Agustín de Iturbide. The United Provinces of Central America, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, and Costa Rica were unified under one state. Nevertheless, the rivalry between liberals and conservatives led the region to be divided into 5 different nations during the 1840s. Panama instead had become part of the Republic of Great Colombia. In 1856, an American filibuster, William Walker, had taken over the Nicaraguan government and appointed himself president. This caused Central Americans from all 5 states to unite once against Walker in what became known as a national war. During the first half of the 20th century, our governments were mostly military dictatorships, and the political environment was a constant power struggle between military elites. Approaching the latter half of the 20th century, the United States began to spread its influence into the governments of Central America, causing civil wars in the region. With the closing of the century, these conflicts came to an end, as well as the Canal of Panama being returned to the government of Panama in 1999. We are a region that appears to be meaningless, a mere land bridge between continents, a small extension of North America. However, I promise you we're anything but insignificant. In 5 minutes, I mentioned the most general events that encompass the main eras in our history. There is still much more to learn about us. Central America is a family with a past, a present, and a future.